Greetings, humans. This is Brendan. Thank you guys so much once again for tuning in. Good morning, aloha, good afternoon, good evening, good beautiful now to wherever you are, whenever you are. What we're going to be doing here, as per usual, this is another daily 906 tarot card reading, and we're broadcasting this live on Facebook and also uploading it to YouTube afterwards. So shout out to everyone wherever you're watching this. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And again, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing some tarot card reading from the Ananda tarot deck. This is the tarot deck that we're using, and we'll get started in the next minute. Again, part of the reason behind doing this is creating a little bit of a spiritual practice, a spiritual ritual, a spiritual habit. Even if, you know, whether you're using the term spiritual or not, like, it is just like a little nice way to be able to make a routine of being able to connect with you guys, connect as a community, and to really open up to this awesome potential of like checking in with the universe and seeing what's happening. Like, this is like kind of like tuning into the news in a way. It's like, oh, what's in the news today? It's like, oh, like what's in like the cosmic like wavelengths today in terms of what will come through the tarot card that we're doing. And so we'll get into it in the next minute. And basically, again, part of the way how this kind of works is that through the awesomeness of tarot, and again, thank you guys for joining in. As you're dropping in, please feel free to say your hellos, your 1111s, your good mornings. Awesome for being here, guys, and please feel free to share this as we get going and even afterwards. And so again, part of the reason how we do this is that through the way how tarot works, from my own understanding, it's a way for the universe to communicate to itself through the language of symbols. So within this deck, within this quantified possibility of opportunity, through the synchronicity of us picking one card, it allows the universe to deliver a message that we are intended to hear in this moment. And then from there, we're going to be talking about it a little bit and talking about the interpretations. And we've had some really good reads so far. This is our 4th broadcast to date. So you guys can always go back and check out the other ones. So we'll get right to that. And again, guys, just reminding you guys, as per usual, that these broadcasts, whether we want to use the term sponsored or not, but using this broadcast as a reminder that you guys can support the awesomeness of Paradigm Shift and the cool things that we're doing by checking out the Paradigm Shift Light Guardian pendants that we got going on here. So again, these are also things that we use for practical meditation. And lately I've been falling asleep like holding on to these, and they like help bring a more awareness to the pulse within inside your body. So we'll be doing a little bit of meditation as we go into this, but again, I'll talk about these a little bit later. But these are available for people within the community, and the asking price is between $30 and $60. Pay what you can. So let me know, and we can get those out to you guys for Christmas. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. So let's see what we got this time going on. And again, so the way how we're doing this is that this is like a reading for the entire community. And so what we're going to do, we're going to pull one card, and then that card is just going to be like a message for whoever hears this, for the entire community, for whoever tunes in, kind of thing. So this is an individual reading for you as much as it is for everyone. So we'll see what we get out of it. So before we do that, just inviting you guys to take a moment of oneness. And by that, I mean, let's just take a moment here to close our eyes and to meditate for about, not even like more, about 15 seconds, give or take, which can feel like a really long time sometimes when you're quiet. And so what we're going to do here, I'm just inviting you guys to take a moment to kind of like connect with your breath for 15 seconds. Just kind of empty your cup. So inviting you guys here, I'm holding on to Light Guardian pendants, and just from here, just take 2 nice, long, simple breaths. Connect, you're awake, you're present. Clear your mind, empty your cup. Go. Awesome. And gently bring yourself back. Sweet. Okay, guys, so let's do this. Let's see what the universe has for us today. And so again, I know the previous ones, like, people have really been leaving some great feedback, and it's awesome to hear that. It's really cool because this is, like, again, kind of this, like, all of us are kind of collectively learning very similar lessons at any given moment, whether we're fully aware of it or not. And that's kind of like the universe kind of moving through different like areas of the cosmic ocean, and as we go through them, it's kind of like, okay, today's lesson is, or today's message is. So again, let this be inspiration and insight for you guys on your journey as you continue to help shift the paradigms, help shift consciousness. So guys, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna lift this side up and down, lift my hand up and down, and then we're gonna just pinch it and lift. And so I'm inviting you guys to set your intention to just like, basically all we're doing is just saying, like, show us what we need to see, show us what we need to hear. That's kind of the basic idea of it. So you guys say when, and I'll split the deck. So say when. Waiting for that when, and when. There we go. Perfect. All right, and so today's card is, look at this, the Fool. This is great. We've been, I want to, in some way recognize that maybe doing this, like, really kind of increases the opportunity for delivering, like, potent messages to us. Sometimes I find that when we do, like, less draws, they become more potent, and so doing one card a day is still, like, an opportunity for it to be very potent. So within the major arcana, which is, like, again, like the cards that you get at the beginning, such as in this case the Fool, and such as the Priestess, the Emperor, even the Devil, the Hermit, the Chariot, those are some of the major arcana. So this is a freaking fantastic card to study. And the only downside is that this the meaning for this one is quite extended. But we're going to take the time to honor this and to really read through it. So let me get nice and comfortable. So again, guys, today's card is the Fool. So if you don't know what the Fool is about, then listen closely, and I'm going to read from you everything that's in front of me, and then we're going to talk about it as we go. So, and shout out to those of you who are seeing this and who are inspired to, like, do your own tarot interaction with tarot. I think tarot is a great tool, again, to be able to, like, open up conversation between yourself and, like, a bonus insight from the universe. So shout out to the universe. All right, here we go, guys. 0. This is card 0. The Fool. Without the image. Without any ground beneath his feet and supported only by the soap bubbles coming from his head, a jester dances and plays with the earth out in space. Meaning, the connections of Neptune, Uranus, and the sign of Pisces point to one of the most delicate of all forms of existence. Neptune, as ruler of Pisces, shows himself here in his purest form. Like Pisces, Uranus and Neptune symbolize immaterial aspects of being. In the astrological sense, Pisces closes the zodiac by stepping over the threshold from life to death, also from the unborn to new life, and symbolizes, like the Fool, the world of the soul. So if that sounds a little complicated, don't worry, we're just going to keep going. I know not everyone's, like, fully, like, versed in kind of the astrological significance of everything, so we'll just keep moving. Like the child in the mother's womb, the soul rocks in its cosmic placenta, in the ultimate trust in God as a single recognizable form of existence, in a state between consciousness and unconsciousness. The planet Neptune carries, like the unborn being, the plan of life within life, like the blueprint of a genetic pattern. While Neptune in its passive nature is unintentional, Uranus, with its active nature, carries the impulse for realization of fulfillment. So this is so I'm gonna reread certain parts that kind of stand out. So that sentence there carries the impulse for realization or fulfillment. If it were never possible to sum up the aspects of such a constellation, the image would come to mind of a carefree child, who is playful, mannerous, who in a playful manner curiously makes his way discovering new things. This would come pretty close to describing that essence. So again, if it were ever possible to sum up the aspects of such a constellation, in this case the fool, the image would come to mind of a carefree child, who his playful manner curiously makes his way discovering new things. So if you're thinking like the fool, one way you can think of it as like that carefree childlike aspect that we have within ourselves, and we'll explain more about why that's so important, right? In the handing down of the traditional tarot, the fool is generally depicted wandering just at the edge of the abyss. In truth, though, he is already one step ahead. He is not worried at all by the law of gravity or by any other boundaries or limitations. Whatever form it may take for him, they are simply powerless, at least in his fantasy, and with that, he is richly blessed. So again, that's kind of really powerful, talking about how like the fool's kind of between worlds is kind of the way how this is talking about. And the fool is existing on boundaries that we sort of commonly recognize within society, yet the fool is doing it in a carefree, like empowered way to simply not be able to be limited by some of like the illusions of the limitations. So I'll keep reading. But yeah, the one sentence there. He is not worried at all by the law of gravity or by any other boundaries or limitations. So that's important. So he dances between heaven and earth without really being at home in this world, learns through trial and error, and lives in the moment. Carefree and with lightness taken for granted, he plays his game. It should be noted that his ball is none other than the earth itself. So take a look at that. See the earth there? Not that he has delusions of grandeur or is too enamored of himself. No, for him it is simply that nothing is impossible. So this is where the fool gets really interesting. The fool begins to represent like this idea of like ripe infinite potential. As the naive nature of a child believes that every object has a soul, he also feels naturally connected to every living thing. So again, that's important too. As the naive nature of a child believes that every object has a soul, he also feels naturally connected to every living thing. So again, like there's a lot there's a lot to read. I just gotta show you. Like we're right about here, so I still have to go through this. But again, as we're kind of breaking it down, this is really getting into the idea of like, think about what life looked like from the eyes of a child for yourself, and even just like the concept of a child in general, right? This is about kind of questioning like where does that connection come from, and why do we lose it, and how do we get it back, and why do we want to get it back? The fool is the joker of the tarot. Through the strength of his imagination, along with the realistic self-assessment, he is truly able to realize his dreams. So that's, again, it's getting pretty potent here. Through the strength of his imagination, along with the realistic self-assessment, he is truly able to realize his dreams. Special abilities and varied talent, which may often be artistic or inventive, find their natural expression here. Often he jumps far ahead in his thoughts. Through his translation of his ideas always has an individual stamp. Through which the translation of his ideas always has an individual stamp. Every one of us carries the fool within. So again, the fool is within us. Indeed, the childish, naive nature is usually buried in the deepest layers of our being, covered over with the worries and necessities of everyday life. So again, right, like the fool, like sometimes people hear the fool and they think it's like this negative thing. Whereas like the fact that it's kind of like disguised is part of its nature, right? So the fool is by no means like negative. It's very malleable. And the fact that it is like the first card in the tarot deck is kind of like super important. It's kind of like representing almost that infinite astral state of raw potential, of raw imagination, which for us as artists is a very important thing to be able to tap into. In the major arcana, the Fool has an important key function. He moves between the end, the universe, and the beginning, the magician. In that way, he is a link and closes the circle between the original action and the resulting effect. In the greater definition, we find here the soul in its pure, formless form, that substance which is untouched by birth and by death of the body, holds a chain of reincarnation together like a thread. So that's important. That substance, which is untouched by the birth and the death of the body, holds a chain of reincarnation together like a thread. So just think about that. Like the part of us that is the us that literally like continues to exist beyond birth and beyond death. That's kind of what the Fool is. Like it's kind of like this underlying code that is persistent and often unseen, yet is in itself like the key that holds everything together. This essence of our being is a silent witness, so again, unseen. This essence of our being is a silent witness in us that makes us capable of unconditionally watching and evaluating our experience. So again, the soul, the Fool is almost like the higher perspective of the soul as well. It's like the oversoul. As the young soul learns from trial and error, and the ripe soul carries within the sum of all experiences from previous lives. Both have the freedom of choice to choose the direction in which they go. Also, they recognize that they bear the consequences for the choices they make. Here the Fool is standing at the threshold between the worlds, where the boundaries are fluid. One of the main characteristics of the Fool is unintentionality. To make a conscious decision, he needs the abilities of the magician, the first card in the tarot. At this point, the subtle world of the Fool becomes a little more transparent. In the abstract sense, it is a casual tangle of thoughts and the possibilities that can be summed up as an idea or vision only in its wholeness, and like an unborn child dreams a dream of its own existence in order to finally make it real. I'm just going to reread that. That's like just an amazing idea. In the abstract sense, it is a casual tangle of thoughts and possibilities that can be summed up as an idea or vision only in its wholeness, and like an unborn child dreams a dream of its own existence in order to finally make it real. The Fool symbolizes the unrealized divine essence in all of us. So yes. So I'm just reading some of the comments in the chat when I see them pop up, and Angelina's just saying, the Fool is the epicenter of the journey. Well said, Angelina. The Fool accompanies us through the entire world of the tarot, similar to the way the plan of our soul weaves like an invisible thread through our life. The quiet voice of our soul often signals us to realize an ideal, in spite of our rational senses. However high these ideals may be, we are challenged to realize them, at least in ourselves. In view of the many obstacles that can stand in our way of our material plane until the realization of these goals occur, we do have the possibility of drawing from the depths of our soul at any time. In the consequences of the immortality of our soul, in the consciousness of the immortality of our soul, the Fool leads us to the center of actual being, in which we find the necessary optimism as well as a certain distance to the world of illusion. I'll just read the rest of this in Morgan Freeman voice, just because I know some people are just like, just read the entire thing in Morgan Freeman voice, Brendan. We love it. So I'll do a little bit. Let me just go back one sentence here. In the consciousness of the immortality of our soul, the Fool leads us to the center of our actual being, in which we find the necessary optimism as well as the certain distance to the world of illusion. He indicates to us to take advantage of our personal freedom in order to develop our original being. All possibilities are open for this. This is the last part here. The Fool's card can often point out that certain abilities could be awakened or even made more potent. When the Fool's card is drawn, it opens a variety of possibilities. Another card may be drawn to obtain further information. So that's like saying it's like, hey, let's draw another card, but we'll stick with just one right now. So thank you, Morgan Freeman. Astrological significance: Uranus, Neptune, Pisces. Keywords: intuition. So this is important. Just if all that stuff before was just like, oh, that was a lot of information, listen to the keywords. That will sum it up. Keywords: intuition, carefree, playful, curious, childlike openness, uninhibited, geniality, optimism, connection to the divine, immortality of the soul, rich in ideas. Traditional meaning: originality, carelessness, innocence, one with nature, rash, positive life views, individuality, naivete. So there you go, guys. That's the written description in the book of the Fool, and now we'll take a moment here to just kind of talk about it. And if you guys have some thoughts, please feel free to leave your comments as we're kind of going to it. And Anne's just saying, another archetypal card, the Fool to me is the eternal student. So Anne, great point. I think that's an awesome way to be able to summarize it. So again, what we were reading in the Fool, like again, just going back to even the key words, because that kind of summarizes it. You know, we're talking about that carefree nature. We're talking about that childlike view and wonder of the world. And so I think in any point when we receive the Fool, again, it's kind of like the first step in receiving the Fool is kind of being able to see beyond the illusion of like even the programming that we have based into our thought, where like to some people they see the Fool or they see the Joker and they're just like, oh, like that's silly, like I don't want to associate myself with that, like that's too, like who wants to be the Fool sort of thing. But like it's kind of like that idea that you know, who is the Fool? The Fool is kind of like a label that society will be used to put on someone else, maybe because they don't fully understand them. And so it kind of reminds me of that quote of like those who danced were called insane by those who couldn't hear the music, kind of thing. So that's kind of similar to what the Fool is. The Fool is the part of us that is reminding us to dance, to be carefree, to bring in that childlike joy, wonder, and awe of like every moment in this reality. And that's kind of like a very beautiful thing. And this kind of will come up through you in your day-to-day life, even as a practice, as you think about it more. Just like these moments where it's so easy to kind of go through life and to get caught up in the material aspects of like this dimension. You know, you're just like doing physical stuff, you're just like dealing with things or whatever, and then every now and then you kind of forget, you literally forget that you're like in this super beautiful holographic matrix that's like infinitely divine. And sometimes it takes like walking through nature to do that. And so I feel like the Fool is kind of like letting us remind ourselves to be like, hey, this is just a ride. Like, don't worry, don't fear. This is just a ride. And so, I mean, you know, like kind of like Bill Hicks in there and everything like that. And so that's very much what the Fool is reminding us. And it's reminding us that through the perception of acknowledging what it is that we are taking part in, it actually brings in a sense of empowerment. It brings in a sense of like raw potential and creativity. It really, like, for me, it recognizes that like the Fool is very much like the us that is like the creator from the astral planes. So the Fool is almost like the lucid dreamer in a lot of ways, you know, like the Fool knows that they're dreaming. Whereas like a lot of other people, you know, they're just like, they don't know that they're dreaming, and they're just going along with the story and they're caught up in it. The Fool is like awake. The Fool is like, if you're like, oh, okay, like I see what's going on here and stuff like that. Here, let me have fun with it. Let me play with it. And that's where you get the symbolism of like, you know, the Fool like playing with the ball. Like the ball is the earth, and they're literally just kind of like they're having a ball. And so I mean, like even that is kind of like, there's like some like reference to like Alan Watson there, where the universe was just like, it said like, oh, like let's have fun, like here, like have a ball, like go have a ball. Like there's kind of like a saying there, right? And so like the fool recognizes that. It sees the ball that it's been given. It sees the earth and the opportunity and this experience of what it's been given, and it's playing with it. And through the playingness of this reality, you get into this idea of like shifting our vibration. And as we sort of experience this for ourselves, we begin to realize that like as we kind of like shift into this carefree, intuitive, loving, appreciative, gratitude, awe-inspired perception of the world, our ability to create shifts as well, and things may begin accelerating. Synchronicities may be occurring more. Flow may be coming to move through you. Ideas may begin to unfold and connect, and that comes like just from like being able to tap into a deeper truth, a deeper knowledge, a deeper wisdom that is within inside all of us. And that is like, I think, the joy in what the Fool is teaching, is that the Fool is reminding us that the lessons of the Fool are not something external, but are something inside. And again, that is what the inner child knows. And that is what, so it's like all of us know this as a child. And then this is stating the obvious, society sort of programs it out of us. And now we're going through the process of unlearning. We're going through the process of remembering. And so the Fool, and Sheikah is saying that it is our true self. Yes, so that is a great way of putting it. So again, the Fool is like the us that is seeing things from the higher perspective, and the us who is not necessarily getting like too caught up in the drama and the worry, and the us who is still able to like bring awe and play and creativity, and in doing so inviting others to see that as well, and to invite others to like bring in that playfulness and again like the compassion and the joy. It's something that the world is waking up to individually. William says, engaging in a relationship within the universe we are made of. So yes, exactly. So let's take another look at the symbolism here, and then we'll get close to wrapping this up. So you can see the Fool is kind of got like, it's got the ball that it's playing with, and then it's got this nifty jumpsuit. It's got these like cool pant legs, and what could we say about the pant legs? Even just looking, like its feet are bare. It's not wearing shoes, so that's like a good reminder to like go play in the mud with your bare feet kind of thing. That's what I get from that. The stripes on its legs, like if we were to like interpret those as anything, I mean, again, that's kind of, I feel like the red and white, like there could be some deep symbolism in there. And even if you're talking about like the Amanita muscaria mushroom or something like that, like red and white is a Christmas color, which is commonly associated with like the Amanita muscaria mushroom, which is about like awakening to like higher conscious ideas through psychedelic experiences, if you want to interpret that way. And then it's like its top, it's got the purple shorts. And again, like if I'm just like trying to interpret this, so again, we got purple, which is kind of like crown chakra, indigo, and then it's got that like rooted on its shorts, which is like it's a root in its sacral. So it's like kind of got the full loop of like the crown chakra and the root chakra. So it's like thinking with its crown chakra through its root chakra, if that makes sense. Again, I'm just kind of interpreting this as I see it, symbolism live. Ella saying, loving the stripy legs. Yeah, I think all of us should get pant legs like that. And then its shirt is a star, like nebula kind of thing, which again I think is really cool, because it's like saying like it's like wearing what it is. It's acknowledging what it is. It is the cosmos, the universe. We look up into the stars and we're not just seeing planets. We're seeing the reflections like of like higher conscious concepts as well. And so like the wearing the heart on its chest is like kind of a cool thing to think about. That like think about how you can do that when you go out there. Wear the universe on your heart. Wear the knowing that you are like this like beautiful fractalated tendril of reality, and you're carrying that with you. And then the other part would be like the face on the Fool has got like some like makeup and stuff on it, which I think is kind of cool. So it's like kind of like playing and allowing ourselves to like accentuate like emotions and things like that. I kind of think of like drama class where males and females would have to wear like certain stuff on their eyes so that people in the back row can see them. So like do that, accentuate your yourself. Allow yourself to be seen by others. Allow your carefree nature to be seen by others. And again, in doing so, you give them permission to bring that carefree childlike nature out within themselves. And even without, and like, I think that's the thing, is that even without totally trying to get like, you know, if you're trying to help other people wake up, one of the ways that you can do it isn't necessarily by going up to them and shaking them and be like, you are a fractal tendril of the universe forever unfolding through the infinite realms of dimension, and you are greater than you realize, and this is an illusion, bah! And, you know, that can work. But another way to do it is like almost like without words, but more like without even telling them, but you just like live in your own action of like being this embodiment of that childlike nature. And then they're just like, whoa, like, why is that person having so much fun? And then through the invitation of them seeing that, it invites them to bring it into themselves. And then through them doing that, they will start to remember, and they will go out in nature. So, I mean, imagine like a child like playing out in nature. Imagine yourself right now, like running in the forest. And like, what would you do? You know, you're like going and you're like looking at all the leaves, and you got like your hands in the dirt, and you're like hugging trees. That childlike aspect of us like wants to connect with nature. And so in the process of doing that, it's us connecting with ourselves. It's us connecting with our connection to reality, to nature. So it's a really interesting thing. Like, what does your inner child want? Your inner child's like, I just want to go play in the mud and play in nature. Why? Because it's like you like feeling that intimate connection with your bigger self, with the bigger picture. And so then the other thing, we got the bubbles, the cosmic bubbles. I think those are worth taking note of too, because I feel like the bubbles, I feel like that's like a very symbolic thing in terms of like the meta, like the multidimensional reality of like bubbles within bubbles within bubbles and bubbles everywhere. And like even the flower of life, if you think about it in a 3D form, you get bubbles everywhere and stuff like that. So we're kind of in like a giant like, you can think of the universe as like a giant like soap bubble cloud in a way. And so again, like the fact that the fools kind of got that up by their head kind of again relates to this idea that they're aware of this. They're aware of this higher conscious understanding of reality, while still playing with the world, while also floating in the sky, which again kind of relates to the lucid dreaming aspect of like, if you can fly, if you think you can fly, you can fly. If you let go of the belief that gravity is holding you down, you can fly. So the fool can fly. We can fly. So, Shika's just saying, a master of expressing themselves doesn't need extra things, right? So, interesting way of putting it. Yes. Katie says, open-hearted energy of the child. Yes, Katie, very much so. So, awesome, guys. Great comments. Thank you for being a part of this. I think that's pretty much, if anybody has any other comments, please feel like leave those in the next like moment and I'll read those. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And so again, like let this discussion that we're having here be another reminder for all of us as we're going out there, as we're like helping shift the paradigms, that it, you know, it is us. This open-hearted energy reaches further into the world because of us carrying it with us, because of us carrying our action. You know, if you see like a part of your town and you're just like, oh, how do we get childlike energy there? How do we get open-hearted energy to it? Carry it with you. You bring it with you. It is always within, and you carry it with you. So this is kind of what we were talking about before, being that ambassador for higher conscious ideas and higher conscious energies. And by the term higher consciousness, that's just kind of like saying like the seeing the bigger picture, seeing it from the higher perspective of the top down, where we're not limited to just like the single story of the drama, but rather we're seeing beyond the illusion and opening up to the idea that everything is happening to us for us. And so, I mean, that's almost a different thing in itself, but it's just like, is it happening to you or is it happening for you? The childlike nature will say it is happening for you. The childlike nature will be able to see the lessons in everything. And if you can do that, this is a huge hack, and we'll just kind of leave it at that. If you can shift into gratitude, even for the hard things in your life, that can radically change things. That can radically change your relationship with your universe. So if you have a challenge that comes your way, meet it with that childlike open-heartedness and be like, I am grateful for this lesson. I am grateful for this opportunity to grow. Opposed to resisting and resisting and resisting. Because eventually, you know, you learn the lesson in that is learning how to let go. Eventually. And sometimes that takes a while. But like, if you like have a challenge come at you, meet it with open-heartedness and meet it with gratitude as much as you feel within that moment or are able to like bring into yourself in that moment. And I guarantee you, reality responds to that. It's like kind of like a secret code. It kind of like changes things. So embrace and express gratitude. Like literally say that in your meditation. Say like, like I am grateful for the challenges that come my way and my opportunity to grow and learn from them. If you literally express that, the universe is just like, they're getting it. Here, have some awesome, more like amazing things. So shout out to the Fool. This is a beautiful card to have, and I'm really glad that we pulled it. And this is a great one to keep in mind as we go forward. And this really does connect like the full circle in a lot of ways. So inviting us to bring the Fool out within each and every one of us. And again, shifting our perception of what the Fool even is, what it means, right? It's not just like this negative thing. The Fool is that the one who sees beyond the illusions. So, and it makes sense, right? The one who sees beyond the illusions is called a fool by the ones within the illusion. Think about it, right? Anytime you sort of hear like this like condescending term being placed on someone, check who's calling them that, because sometimes that can like bring into question the true nature of what's actually happening. So the Fool is a great teacher. So there you go, guys. That's the Fool, and I'll just kind of move into wrapping this up. And thank you so much again for being a part of this, and inviting you guys, of course, to be able to share this with your friends and to tune in again for another live tarot draw on the next day, which will be on Thursday, November 24th. And again, that'll be at 9:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on weekdays. And I'll be doing these as much as I'm able to. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being a part of this. And again, we'll just kind of move into doing a closing meditation. And if you guys are interested in supporting the ongoing stuff that we do through the Paradigm Shift Central project, one of the ways that you can do that, I'll just show you guys again, is the Light Guardian pendants, which are now available. And these look super awesome in the dark. And again, these are available for you guys to be able to use as practical tools along your journey to be able to help shine the inner light. And so these can also be used as practical meditation tools. You can kind of like put your fingers like through the loops and hold on to these and even fall asleep with these, is what I've been doing. So these are available between the asking price of $30 to $60, pay what you wish, and just send me a message if you would like to get one of those. And they make great gifts for all your light worker shifter friends, your light guardian friends this holiday season. So, and again, guys, if you want to support another way, you can do it through the Team Patreon. And through the Team Patreon, you get your Shifter Booster Kit, which comes with shift buttons, and I'll show you a few. Here's the Seal of Truth, the Seal of Solomon. This one's like super esoteric. And again, the sign up for the Team Patreon is just the asking donation of $3 to $5 a month, and it helps the entire community continue to evolve. And you also get other cool things, including secret videos and the Love Wand massage tool if you donate at the $5 level, and the crystal pendant. So there's a cool spiral galaxy there. And here's Buddha under the tree at the moment of enlightenment. And again, each one of these has a website for ParadigmShiftCentral.com. And they're meant to be shared and given to other shifters. And just a couple more here. Eye of Ra, one of my go-to favorites. And Metatron Cube, another awesome one. So wearing these helps other shifters find you within the matrix, and helps you create and evoke synchronicity. Every single one of these is like a seed to help other people awaken. So give this to someone, and it invites them to the Paradigm Shift Central project, and it even invites them to these discussions, these ongoing broadcasts, which again, in the process, invites them to a community of other people who are open-mindedness, who are passionate about helping change the world, and who are coming together to do some amazing things. So thank you guys for being a part of this. So with that said, we'll move into our closing meditation. And again, like before, just inviting you guys to take a moment here to kind of take in what we learned, what we remembered here. And we'll just do another 2 simple, deep, long breaths, 15-second, give or take, meditation to wrap this up. So thinking about the Fool, the inner child. And let's do this. Begin. And so once upon an illusion called time, when we were still just finding our way, the universe gave us a ball and said, "Here, remember how to play." And so as we crawl our way through the mud with a smile on our face, hugging the trees as we dance and find our way through this race, amongst the trees and the leaves, amongst the sun and the clouds, amongst the night sky and the moon, amongst the birds that sing so loud. Let us open up the heart to the child that is within, so that we can share with the world our connection as eternal kin. And so I invite you to be in this moment we call now, to connect with what you are, to remember each way and how, that you can bring more love into this world through the simplicity of one action, by leading as an example for others to find their own satisfaction, of remembering the magic that is in every moment, of remembering the quest of our eternal infinite atonement, because you are the fractal of the infinite source, of the childlike nature who is here always first. As a higher conscious perspective, you open up to more that you are. You remember your connection to the infinite of the stars. And so like the fool that you are, like the fool that you can be, join alongside as we dance our way through the freedom of this moment, through the freedom of this opportunity, through the freedom of the love, and all the things that we can do to make it truly worthy of our efforts, worthy of our time, worthy of this gratitude, and worthy of this dope, shifty rhyme. So, pew, 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 pew. There we go. You are worthy. Go have some fun. Go have a ball. So, awesome. All right, guys. So with that said, we are ready to wrap up this broadcast, and shout out to those of you watching it on Facebook. Shout out to those of you watching it on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, make sure you connect to my Facebook at facebook.com/SkullBabylon. And of course, you can check out more at ParadigmShiftCentral.com. And a reminder that our next live broadcast relative to this one, our next bigger broadcast, will be the Paradigm Shift Destiny School this Thursday, November 24th at 9 p.m. EST, and anybody's welcome to get involved with that. And the topic is on conscious themes within movies and media. So that's going to be that's a very exciting topic for me. And with that said, guys, I'm going to get moving on to the other stuff that I got to do today. I got some more packages that I'm getting ready to ship out. And in addition to that, also got the Doctor Strange Conscious Movie Review that I'm going to work on today to get that ready to have in sync with the broadcast for tomorrow. So guys, thank you so much again for your support, for making this possible, for allowing me to be in this place to share with you and to commit myself to helping build and grow and be a part of this ongoing story that we are a part of. So thank you so much, guys. Again, ParadigmShiftCentral.com, Patreon.com/Brendan Carlton. Add your support for as low as $3 to $5 as a micro donation, and help us help everyone as we continue to shift the paradigms and continue to have an awesome time. So you guys are awesome. Go shift the paradigms. Go awaken to that inner child. Give love to your inner child. Allow that inner child to dance and play alongside you. You are that inner child. So much love, guys. If you missed any of the past broadcasts of the tarot readings, you can always go back and check those on my YouTube. And yes, thank you. So Morgan Freeman sending his love too. So you are the universe. Remember. So all right, guys, that was a good one. A little bit longer than usual, but much worth it. So thank you guys so much. And for those of you on Facebook, leave a 555 in the comments plus your location if you want people to add you. If you see anybody with a 555 in the comments, please feel free to add them as well. And that's another way that we can connect. So there you go, guys. Let me just take a moment here. I think we covered everything. Yeah, that's about it. So very cool. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this. As always, download this inspiration, integrate it, think about it. I am the universe talking to you. I am the other part of you, reminding us of how amazing and how epic this journey really is. So go out there, bring more love into this world, be love, help shift the paradigms, and as always, keep it shifty. Much love, guys. Until next time, I'll see you in the future. Peace. One love.